Los Angeles Rams, watch out. Once again, your fast start may be slipping away, just as surely as the game did in the second half Monday night, when a last-minute touchdown seemed good enough to keep you unbeaten. But a last-second lapse changed that outlook, exposing the Rams as a team that can be had. Their 5-0 start has floated away, and the Rams' schedule suddenly gets very mean, beginning today with a group of win-hungry New Orleans Saints. CBS Sports presents the National Football League. Today from Anaheim Stadium in Southern California, the New Orleans Saints take on the Los Angeles Rams in an NFC Western Division battle, and things are tied atop the NFC West. Rams and 49ers tied, and the New Orleans Saints trying to stay in the hunt. It certainly would be a big win for them today. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Zabriskie, and along with Coach Hank Stram, we welcome you to the NFL here on CBS. Henry, last week the Saints were able to halt that losing streak, but of course the Rams are not the New York Jets. What are they going to have to do today?
Well, I think New Orleans is a lot better team than their 2-4 record would indicate. And I think for them to win the game this afternoon, they have to rush from between 135 to 150 yards. They have to get 4 sacks on Everett, and they got to make some turnovers, which they haven't done a good job of in the last few weeks.
Well, the Rams have lived and died by the run under John Robinson. In the last 3 games, they have had problems running the football. How big a factor do you think that's going to be?
Well, I got news for you, Steve. I think they'll have trouble running again this afternoon against this New Orleans Saints defense. It's a terrifically outstanding defense. And I think they have to run just enough to keep good balance and keep the pressure off of their quarterback. But I think in the final analysis, the Rams have to come up with some big plays to win this game this afternoon against this fine New Orleans Saints team.
One thing the Rams have been doing is coming up with big plays and big wins against NFC West opponents. They've won 5 straight within the division. They have won the toss. They have elected to receive, and Morton Anderson, one of the best in the business, will kick it off for the Saints. Robert Del Pino, 39, and Ron Brown, 89, are back deep to receive. Brown at the 3. Out to about the 18 is all, and a penalty flag goes down around the 10 as the tackle is made. Antonio Gibson on the stop for New Orleans, and we'll check out referee Fred Wyatt.
Number 37, half the distance, first down.
And it is against the Rams, called on James Washington. So the Rams will start deep in their own territory with Jim Everett, who has become one of the best in the business, leading them up. And behind this offensive front, Robert Cox starts in place of the injured Irv Pankey, who has a bad back, and Newberry, Smith, Slayton, and Slater, some of the best. Damone Johnson, the tight end. In the backfield, it'll be Buford McGee and Greg Bell, with Willie Anderson and Henry Ellard, number 1 in the league in the wideouts, and then Robert Del Pino and Pete Holohan, the third down specialist. Rams at the 6. Everett hangs in there and throws it away. Didn't have anybody open, and it'll be second down and 10 with Pat Swilling getting some pressure. And that pressure supplied by Frank Warren, Jim Wilkes, and James Geathers, the front 3 for the New Orleans 3-4. The linebackers led by Ricky Jackson, with Sam Mills, only 5'8", Vaughn Johnson, and Pat Swilling. Then in the secondary, it's rookie Robert Massey, Toy Cook, and the safeties are Gene Atkins and David Waymer, who's been moved to safety. And then the others who come in on third down nickel situation. Second down and 10.
They want to throw here again.
They do. Damone Johnson, the tight end, at the 10 for a short gain before he's pushed back. Gene Atkins and Sam Mills on the stop.
We're going to see 2 very outstanding quarterbacks here this afternoon, and Bobby Hebert and also Jim Everett. Both of them have done a terrific job for their respective teams, and I don't think Hebert gets nearly as much credit as he deserves.
He's played very well this year to be among the top, as is Everett. Aaron Cox and Ron Brown, 4 wide receivers in the game. And Everett overthrows Brown, who appeared to have enough for the first down. Atkins had the coverage, and so the punting unit comes on for the Rams.
And right off the bat, they got a little push up the middle on Everett. He threw that ball falling away. He's got to step, throw, and follow through to be efficient. They're going to try to ruin that timing, and they did a good job of getting pressure on him just enough for him to throw the ball falling backwards, and the ball falls incomplete.
Dale Hatcher, who is among the lowest punting averages in the league. Rookie Rod Harris breaks through, stumbles, and falls to the 25. Rod Harris, who returned punts for the first time last year for New Orleans, runs back a 32-yard kick, 18 yards. And Jim Mora very happy with what he saw from Rod Harris. There's Mora in his 4th year at the helm of New Orleans. And now Harris is returning both punts and kicks. Bobby Hebert's second in the NFL in completion percentage. And here's the front he'll have. Dombrowski, Edelman, Joel Hilgenberg starting at center. Trapillo and Brock on the other side with tight end Hobie Brenner. Then in the backfield, it is, of course, big Craig Ironhead Hayward. It's 260 pounds. Dalton Hilliard, who does most of the running. Eric Martin and Lonzel Hill. Perryman and Turner coming off the bench. Saints with great field position at the 24.
There's a big hole on the right side behind the right guard.
There to throw. Dumps it over the middle, complete to Dalton Hilliard. Stopped right at the 20-yard line. Mel Owens and Frank Stams, the 2 inside linebackers.
We might mention, too, that Bobby Hebert is hurting a little bit. He's got a bad knee, hurt it last week, and had to have a drain on Wednesday. Also got a shot. He's got a bad cold, but in spite of that, he's feeling pretty good. And he felt very strong yesterday about the fact that he was going to play and would be fine here this afternoon, and he gets off to a good start.
Plus, he had a couple of teeth knocked out a couple of weeks ago. So other than the hyperextended knee, the teeth knocked out, and the cold, he's doing great.
Well, that's appropriate with Halloween coming.
The human jack-o'-lantern. Hayward in motion on 2nd and 6. Hilliard. First down, touchdown. A 20-yard touchdown pass.
And they made it look very easy, and of course that's what happens with good field position. And Bobby Hebert's got a great capacity to hit the open man. Look at Hilliard. The right side of your bottom of your screen on the right side. There he is, breaks out into the flat beyond the numbers. Makes a good move back to the inside. Stams was trying to make the tackle from the inside out linebacker position. He goes into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans Saints.
Morton Anderson on to attempt the extra point. And as usual, it's right through there. And so, the New Orleans defense helps the offense with excellent field position. And the Saints capitalize to lead 7-0 early in the first quarter. Dalton Hilliard culminating just a 24-yard touchdown drive. It took less than a minute with that 20-yard pass from Hebert, and it's 7-0 Saints. And now Morton Anderson will kick it off.
And he is murder in space. You give him a little running room, he's hard to tackle.
You can see how the Saints have started fast. They have not allowed a touchdown in the first quarter while outscoring their opponents handily as Anderson kicks it deep. Ron Brown, 2 yards deep, brings it out. Down to the 15. The Saints again with excellent coverage. Joel Colbrand, backup linebacker, making the stop. And let's take another look at the scoring drive and how quick it was. And then Harris's punt return, of course, set up excellent field position. And here's the touchdown, the 20-yard pass from Hebert.
Look at Kevin Green blitzing on the outside. And Hilliard breaks out into the flat. There's nobody out there to pick him up. Stams is coming from the inside linebacker position. He cuts back on Stams, and he goes into the end zone for the touchdown.
The Rams on 1st and 10 with a one-back set, and it's Greg Bell who has it. Nowhere to go. Great play by Sam Mills, who everybody said was too small to play at 5'8", but Jim Mora liked what he did in Philadelphia in the USFL and brought him here to New Orleans.
You know, the nice thing about Mills, he's so short that you can't find him. That's true. They
can't block him.
Yeah, they can't find him, and he sees a gap of any kind. He's so quick and so aggressive to read so well, get into that gap and make the tackle. You got to block him on every run play or else you're going to be in trouble, and the same is true with Ron Johnson, number 53.
2nd down and 11. Everett sacked at the 5. Jim Wilkes coming hard for the sack and a loss of 9.
Here we see Jim Wilkes, number 94, and he beats Smith, the center. And there's the play. He comes around the backside and makes the sack on Everett. And it's unusual. We talked to Wilkes yesterday, and he's 6'5". It's unusual for a guy 6'5" to play in the nose of the center. But you know, the great thing about him, as far as that position is concerned, he's got short legs, and so he gets good leverage.
He said it doesn't really bother him. That's his third sack of the year. And it's 3rd and 20 as the Rams call timeout. They went to 4 wideouts. And Everett calling timeout as John Robinson and company totally unable to get any offense going at all. New Orleans, Hank, has jumped right on top with their defense very aggressively. And here are the goals that they have. 4 sacks a game. They want to hold the Rams to 3.5 yards per play or less. They have a goal every game to either intercept or knock down one of every 18 passes. And they want to try to give their offense the ball twice inside the 50. They've already done it once.
And they're a very aggressive football team, and they haven't had many turnovers, and they haven't had good field position. They got it here this afternoon, and anytime you give them a chance to score in the scoring area, they're going to make something happen, and they just did on that 24-yard touchdown catch and run by Dalton Hilliard.
James Gathers, a defensive end, and one of his defensive mates, Vaughn Johnson, at linebacker, told us yesterday that the Saints made every one of those goals but one last week against the Jets. Everett again in the end zone, trying to get it out, and off of Henry Allard, almost picked off by Dave Waymer, but incomplete. Pat Swilling almost got to Everett in the end zone.
Now here's a great illustration how different it is when he's got time to set and throw and follow through. Talking about effort. Look, he's got plenty of time. He steps. He throws, the ball's right on the money. It hit him, it looks like, on the shoulder pad, or maybe even on the face mask, and bounced right out of there.
Rod Harris again. He takes this one at the 36 and down to the 31. So the Saints again will enjoy excellent field position after a 31-yard punt and a 5-yard return. We'll be back to Anaheim with the Saints leading 7-0 in just a minute. Field position has certainly been the key so far, as the Saints will have their second offensive possession, and for the second time they will be in Rams territory, 1st and 10 at the Los Angeles 31.
And you know the important thing, Hebert, we talked about him a little while ago. Hebert has completed 79% of his passes on 1st and 10 situations. Is that strong?
That is strong. And a lot of those have been to backs, and of course he threw to Dalton Hilliard for the 20-yard touchdown. Hayward the lone setback. Monzel Hill in motion. Again, good protection and complete. Eric Martin close to a first down near the 21. Mike Wilcher made the tackle along with Leroy Herbert.
Football is such a repetitive game. People don't realize, you keep hearing about turnovers and playing on a shorter field than the opposition. That's exactly what's happening so far in the early stages of this game. The New Orleans Saints started the first drive on the plus 24. Now they start on the plus 31. It's a lot easier to win a race when you have to run 35 or 40 yards and the opposition has to run 100. If you're Jesse Owens, you're not going to win that race.
Well, Fred Wyant and company are going to measure, as it was just barely short of the first down. They used the chains to spot the ball. 2nd down and inches. This is what quarterbacks and coaches love. You got a lot of options right here when it's 2nd and inches. Hebert is 3 of 3 passing so far for 33 yards and a touchdown. Fumble. It looks like the Saints got it back as Hebert and Hayward missed on the exchange. And the ball covered by Joel Hilgenberg, the center.
But what happened on the play, it looked like Wright, 99, got through there right about the time the exchange was made. Look, and he gets right across there, licks Hilgenberg, and then he gets a situation where he created the fumble.
Knocked right into Hebert as he was trying to hand off to Hayward. So now it's 3rd down and a yard to go. And this time a legitimate yard. Hayward, he won't make it. Alvin Wright again with the big play for Los Angeles.
They didn't get a good enough push. You're talking about a push. The defense got the push, got penetration, and stopped him right at the line of scrimmage. It doesn't look like he makes the first down. In fact, he doesn't.
Steve Court, the normal starting center for the Saints, is out with a knee injury. And so Joel Hilgenberg is starting, and so far Wright's had the best of that.
You know, Anderson has made only 4 of his last 11 field goal attempts on grass.
And this one will be officially a 39-yard attempt. And it's good. So the Saints convert both times with a touchdown and a field goal. And with 9:17 to go in the first quarter, it's the Saints 10 and the Rams nothing. Los Angeles defensive coordinator Fritz Shurmur was talking to the defense, trying to fire them up a little bit, but the defense hasn't had much of a chance, really, because the Rams offense hasn't been able to do anything. Saints leading 10-0.
Well, we talked about the field position, and that's murdered.
Morton Anderson booms it down there. Ron Brown about 4 yards deep, decides not to run it out. Morton Anderson and Mike Lansford, the kickers in this game, are 2 of the premier kickers. There's Mike in the National Football League. Mike just signing a new contract. Anderson, of course, probably the highest paid kicker in the history of the game, but this is why. They are 1-5 all time as far as field goal accuracy is concerned. And in fact, not only are all those 5 guys active in the NFL, the top 6 of all time are still active in the NFL, with Anderson leading the pack, but not by much. Rams 1st and 10 at the 20. Bell breaks outside, out to the 29. Gain of about 9. Robert Massey, rookie cornerback from North Carolina Central, cut him down.
You know, one thing is you watch the Rams run the football, they very rarely get outside of the numbers. They're always within the framework of the numbers, and the reason they like to do that, they like to get the shoulders square and head upfield as soon as they possibly can, and there was a great illustration of it by Bell.
Second down and 1. Bell again. McGee with a block, and Bell has the first down as he gets across the 30. Vaughn Johnson on the tackle for New Orleans.
There's a great illustration of how much the Rams respect the defense of the New Orleans Saints. If they're going to run outside, they don't want to bring the ball across the formation. They want to give it out to the halfback very quickly. They tossed it out that time to the halfback, Bell, and he got enough for the first down on the play.
Aaron Cox and Robert Telpino come into the game on 1st and 10 as the Rams spread it out a little bit. Cox in motion. Everett completing it. Cox had the ball stripped away, but it was after he was down. Toy Cook and Sam Mills with the defensive play.
You talk about a frozen rope and a great throw. Watch this. Toy Cook and Mills around the receiver. He looks right and comes back to the left. That's good coverage. I don't know how you could cover anybody better than Cook covered on that last play, but in spite of that, the ball was thrown perfectly, and as a result, it was completed forward pass.
Second down and 3 for a gain of 7 to Cox. McGee in motion. Bell cutting back and slipping and falling right about the line of scrimmage.
See, there again, the play looks like it's going to go outside, but it always goes inside. He sees some kind of a crack and tries to get up the field as soon as he possibly can with the shoulders square, especially from that deep position. That time he slipped going into the hole and didn't make much yardage on the play, and of course, great pursuit on the part of the New Orleans Saints.
Greg Bell comes out, and Cleveland Gary, the rookie from Miami, replaces him. Also, Pete Holohan and Flipper Anderson are in on 3rd down and 3.
They like to throw the Holohan in this situation. I'm sure the New Orleans are watching for him carefully.
He stays in the block, however, and the pass is behind Cleveland Gary. He was covered by Vaughn Johnson. And so it's 4th and 3, and the Rams will have to punt it away again.
Cleveland Gary played his collegiate football at the University of Miami. Did you ever see the hands? They're like shovels.
Yes.
They really are like two great big shovels.
2 potato spades.
He said, my ring is the biggest ring that was ever made for a college football player.
Well, even with hands as big as Gary's, he couldn't hold on to that one. Rod Harris, who's done a great job averaging 13 yards per return. And Dale Hatcher, who needs to get a good one off, does. The 28. And only out to the 34 is all for his cover. Well, before the game and throughout the NFL, not only here in Anaheim, they held a moment of silence today for the victims and others affected by the tragic earthquake in the San Francisco Bay Area. For the second time in a month, really, we've seen the devastation and loss that's been brought about by a natural disaster. And this week, our hearts do go out to the people of Northern California. We've watched and shared in the ordeal there, and we know that a staggering amount of work lies ahead in order for lives to be restored to normal. Many fine agencies are providing assistance, and if you would like to help, we suggest you check your local newspaper for the appropriate support agency to donate to in your area to help the victims of the Northern California earthquake. Saints 1st and 10 at the 34. Hebert has all day. Throws it to Hill, but it's incomplete as he couldn't hold on. Monzel Hill covered by Vince Newsom. Good coverage by the Rams, Henry. Hebert could have had lunch.
Yeah, had all kinds of time back there to throw the football, and he couldn't find anybody open. Green, number 91, goes in this time and covers on the pass. Look at Hebert. He doesn't know where to throw it. And finally, he whips it over here to the outside. It should have been caught. Should have been caught. Was dropped by Mo Hill.
So it's 2nd down and 10. Still at the 34 of New Orleans. First time they've started in their own side of the 50. Kobe Brenner moves to the left side, and Hill's in motion. Dalton Hilliard diving forward for a gain of 3 or 4. Tripped up by Leroy Irvin.
Craig Haywood that time really got a good block on the linebacker Wilshire. And I tell you, what I've seen of him in the pictures, talking about Hayward, he's one of the best blocking fullbacks I think I've seen in a long, long time. Boy, he's like one of those destruction balls. When he goes after you, he really gets you.
He's got his weight down to about 260. He was as high as 280. But he is a load. Third and 7. Complete to Turner at midfield. Floyd Turner tackled by Darrell Henley, but it's a gain of 13 and a New Orleans 1st down.
Turner's isolated here on the outside. Look at this one-on-one situation. Look at the defensive back. Look at the great big cushion he gives him, meaning a lot of room in front. He throws the ball right on the numbers, and I'll say this for Hebert. I tell you, he is as accurate a quarterback as I've seen in a long, long time. I tell you, if he has a chance to hit somebody, he's going to hit him, and he put it right on the numbers in that situation.
68% completion rate so far this year. 1st and 10. Hilliard. No hole there. He is hammered to the ground by Sean Miller. Loss of maybe a half yard on the play. 2nd down and 11.
I tell you this too, Steve. When the New Orleans Saints have the ball, they have a distinct advantage from a size standpoint. The matchup between their offensive line and the defensive line of the Rams is definitely in favor of the New Orleans Saints.
Under pressure, Hebert gets it away and completes it to John Tice, the tight end. The ball comes out, but the whistle had blown. Lonzel Hill covered it. Kevin Green and Steve Trapillo were getting in a fight after the play, and Hebert took another shot.
But here again, even with the shot, look at the way he gets rid of the ball and puts it right on the money. Look at the pressure up the middle. Right about the time he gets the ball, he gets a shot. In fact, it looked like he might have hurt his right hand as he threw the ball and followed through. Now look at the hit he gets by Wright, 99. See, nobody sees that. They see the flight of the ball. They don't see the massage that Hebert gets. He really got a shot that time, but in spite of that, he bounces right back. But it looked like he might have hurt his hand.
The Saints have called a timeout. And one place where Hebert has been susceptible to the rush has been up the middle. And that's what the Rams are trying to do, is put the heat on him up the middle. They've gotten to him a couple of times, even though he did complete the pass.
Well, the thing about, he's big and he's strong, and he doesn't pay any attention when you blitz on the outside. He just steps up into the pocket and throws the football. As a result, people feel you got to rush him, get a push him, back into the pocket, get somebody in his face, and then he has to try to escape outside, and there's no place to go. Look at this hit. He just gets rid of the ball, and look at Wright. He really splatters him as he gets rid of the football, and of course that's a legal hit.
And it did look like Hebert may have hit his arm, elbow, or hand on Wright's helmet. Well, Bobby Hebert's right up there. Here's the quarterback rankings in the National Football League, and if you can figure out the ranking system, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. But anyway, Montana first and Bobby Hebert right there second with Everett fourth. So two of the top four in the league in this game. 3rd down and 3. Turner. Frazier it is. Paul Frazier out of the backfield with a first down and deep into Los Angeles territory, a gain of 22. We're in Anaheim Stadium in Southern California on a gray and cloudy day. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram with you, bringing you the NFL on CBS, where the New Orleans Saints have been in command since the opening kickoff, Henry.
They have. They've had good field position on 2 occasions, but this one they're just making things happen on their own. They started back on the other side of their 50 and moving the ball terrifically well.
Big 3rd down play to Paul Frazier for a gain of 22, 1st and 10 at the Rams 20. Hebert flushed out. Stiff arm and intercepted by Frank Stams. Eric Martin makes the tackle on Stams at the 35.
Now the key to this play really is block. The right tackle is blocking Green. And he's trying to block him from the inside out to keep it from putting pressure on the quarterback, except Hebert goes in the direction of where he was blocking him, and he throws the ball on the move and throws the interception. But that's what happens when you scramble and your linemen don't know where you're going to be.
Frank Stams' first interception of the year, and we'll return to Anaheim in just a minute. Kevin Green had the pressure, and Frank Stams picked it up and brought it back 20 yards for the Rams. 1st and 10 at their own 35 as New Orleans leads 10-0. This is the best field position the Rams have had to start from. Everett underthrowing Henry Ellis. Let's go back and look at the play where Kevin Green got all over Bobby Hebert.
And I said it was Brock. It was not Brock. It was Hobie Brenner, 85. Look at it. Rolling to the outside. Really, it was Trapillo. That's who it was. The right guard. The right guard pulling out. I saw the 5, and I thought it was a tight end, but he was pulling out, and that's what created the problem when Hebert tried to bounce outside and throw the pass.
Everett has completed only 2 of 7, and Greg Bell falling forward. Dave Waymer in there very quickly on a blitz. And the New Orleans Saints are really bringing it to the Rams and using field position to their tremendous advantage so far in the game. Here's the average starting position for each team.
Well, it's easy to understand. One thing that's very important with field position, once you get the opportunity, that's great. But the important thing is that you take advantage of the opportunity, and that's exactly what the New Orleans Saints have done on the first 2 occasions they had good field position on the Rams.
Fritz Shurmur working with the defense, but the offense has been unable to do anything. 3rd down and 10 on a bootleg. Everett completes it to Aaron Cox, out of bounds for a 1st down. Cox beating rookie Robert Massey, and the Rams with a gain of 21.
Now he rolls out and watch, watch the center and the back as they collide. But here's a great illustration of what happens when you move the pocket. You're getting a lot of pressure on the inside, throwing a ball outside, and if they rush inside, it's like throwing a bunch of popcorn at a battleship. It doesn't do very much good.
Well, Aaron Cox got Massey so turned around, Massey tripped over his own feet. From the 44. Ellard slips and falls. He's out of bounds. Covered by Toy Cook at the 24. It's a 20-yard gain.
Now watch what happens. Look at the difference. Watch Everett go back into the pocket. Play action fake, steps up into the pocket. Look at all the time he's got to throw the ball. He steps and throws the ball right on the money. Toy Cook slips and falls, and so does the receiver, but they have a big gain in the play and a first down.
A lot of rain here overnight. The field was covered, but the sidelines are always going to be the dampest part of the field. Everett down the middle, complete to Ellard. Down to the 2-yard line. A 22-yard gain.
Pretend like you're the quarterback now. This is what Everett sees on this play. Ellard goes right into the middle area. Pass protection is good. Look at he steps and throws again. Look at the big area right in the middle. They're playing a zone on the play, and as a result, the middle was wide open. Ellard makes the catch, and he throws the ball right between the 8 and right between the O.
This is the 6th play of the drive. On this play, 72, Robert Cox is an eligible receiver at tackle on the left side, but it's a running play. No, it's a bootleg. Everett trying to run it in. It's run out of bounds at the 4. Brett Maxey would have none of it.
Usually that kind of a play will sucker people, but look at on the outside, Maxey, look at him. Plays the thing extremely well, maintains his containment, and knocks Everett out of bounds. A beautiful play by the defensive back.
Pardon me, Henry, a loss of 2, and it is 2nd down and goal at the 4. Bell. A yard maybe to the 3 is all.
And Bell doesn't look like he runs nearly as efficiently when he's in a regular set compared to what he runs like when he's in the I formation and back there about 7 yards. He never got a chance to turn the corner and turn upfield, and of course that was a great credit to the defense of the New Orleans Saints.
Buffalo really shut down Greg Bell last week, especially in the second half. Here he has carried now 6 times and picked up only 11 yards. It is 3rd and goal at the 3. Ellard, touchdown!
Here we see Ellard on the outside. Now he comes inside, and then he goes back outside. If you got time to throw that pattern, I guarantee you nobody in the world can cover it. It's tough because you get the defensive back, Massey, going to the inside. You stop, you go back outside. There's no way you can cover that pattern.
Lansford on to attempt the extra point. It's automatic. With just 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Rams score to make it now New Orleans 10 and Los Angeles 7. Henry Ellard has become the #1 receiver in the history of the Los Angeles Rams. He also is #1 in the history of the National Football League in at least one category. And look at these dynamic duos. These are guys in the league right now. A pair of receivers on each team, and Ellard and Holohan right now ranking 3rd with 61 receptions between them.
Well, with situation substitution the way it is, it used to be that people would run 60 times and throw the ball 40% of the time. Now it's more like 50-50, and as a result, people are catching a lot more passes against the nickel packages and, of course, 1st and 10 situations, which is very vulnerable.
Henry Ellard caught 3 passes on that drive for 45 yards, an 8-play, 65-yard drive. And Jim Everett was 4 of 5 passing after a 2 for 7 start.
And the difference really was pass protection.
He had time. And the field position didn't hurt either, as the Rams started that drive with their best field position of the day. So the 3-yard pass to Ellard, and it's now a 3-point New Orleans lead. 15 seconds left in the first quarter. A sellout here in Anaheim, and that is an all too rare occurrence as far as the Rams are concerned. Lansford kicks off. Rod Harris at the 9. Out to about the 29 or 30. Drag down there. So New Orleans will start with, again, pretty good field position. And here it is, 2 minutes and 43 seconds to go 8 plays and 65 yards. And number 11 got it cranked up. What should be the final play of the quarter. Hebert, lots of time again, completes it to Martin, and Eric covered immediately as he too slips a little bit at the 37. So that's the end of the first quarter here in Southern California, with the New Orleans Saints leading the Los Angeles Rams 10-7. Jet skis along the golden Southern California coast, cloudy and windy, which is a tad unusual here in Southern California.
Jet ski sounds like he's Polish.
He could be one of us, Henry. Guy who invented those, Mr. Jet Ski. Second quarter, 10-7. New Orleans, they have 2nd down and 2 at their own 38. Dalton Hilliard cutting it up nicely. Hilliard to the 42.
Dalton Hilliard reminds me of our great back, Mike Garrett. He's an escape runner, and I tell you, they get close to the line of scrimmage, and I could never, ever understand how Mike used to make the great moves that he'd make. He'd head for a hole and then stop and escape and go to another area. Hilliard is very much like that, a great runner.
The one thing the Saints are concerned about is the pounding that Hilliard constantly takes. He's only 5'8". He weighs 205, and he carries a lot. Hayward, however, is the antithesis at about 260, but he finds very little room in the middle.
I don't think he runs nearly as well when he's 4 yards deep. I think he'd get him back there 7, and get him a little head of steam, and I think he'd move the pile and create some problems for people.
Yeah, like the guys he runs into. Scores of games also in progress. 2nd down and 10. Hebert just does get it away, but Hilliard can't hold on. Frank Stams blasts him out of bounds. Alvin Wright again with the pressure.
Makes all the difference in the world. Even though he's moving the pocket here, he's rolling out to his right a little bit. Here comes the pressure, and he has to throw the ball as he's right about the time he's being hit by Wright, 99, and as a result, it's tough to make that kind of a throw.
Well, the ball really could have been caught. That's the second one that's been dropped.
Well, it should have been caught. Very classic.
So it's 3rd down and 10. Rams going with 6 DBs and 4 wideouts in the game for the Saints. Underneath and complete, but not near enough for the first down. Jerry Gray just hammering Floyd Turner. Turner able to hold on, but the Saints will punt it away.
Turner's anchored on the outside. Gray involved in coverage on the play. He breaks inside, and right about the time he makes the catch, he gets a good shot and a good tackle, because all they were concerned about is the fact that he wouldn't make the necessary yardage for the first down.
Tommy Barnhart won the punting derby for the Saints a couple of weeks ago. They invited 9 guys to a tryout because they were unhappy with their punting. And Barnhart won the job. He's averaged 36.5 yards per punt. Rookie Darrell Henley back to receive for the Rams. Henley at the 16. Nowhere to hide. Dropped at the 12 by Antonio Gibson and Brett Maxey. So a 12:32 to go in the second quarter. We'll return. The Saints defense did a great job in giving them a couple of scores early, and of course they have done a great job, except on the one drive by Los Angeles, of holding the Rams in check. But I guess, Henry, so far the key is something coaches always talk about, and that's field position.
Well, that's exactly what it is. And of course, any time that you get stuck in the gumbo, so to speak, why, it's tough to get out of there sometimes. And that's exactly what happened to the Rams on the first 2 possessions. But it's going to be a fine game before it's all over with. It is right now.
So the Rams have a chance to come back now. First and 10. They are at their own 12, and flags fly on the snap. So Fred Wyatt, who was busy on the opening play of the game, will give us the call.
I have illegal motion, number 42. We have offsides against the defense. No play, replay, first down.
Well, Bell moved too early, but the Saints were offside, so it's still at the 12, first and 10.
So far, both teams have thrown the ball very good. They haven't been able to run. There's only been 16 yards made between the 2 teams rushing so far in the early stages of this contest.
Well, you were right, Coach, so far. And what you said in the opening, it was going to be tough to run, and Bell's going to try it again. Slipping at the 10 and falling forward to about the line of scrimmage. So again, not much happening on the ground.
You know, going into this game, talking to the Ram coaches, they all said the same thing. I guarantee you this will be the toughest physical team we will have played all year long, and that includes Buffalo last week. So they have a great deal of respect and admiration for this New Orleans football team.
I thought Bobby Hebert had a nice quote. Yesterday we were talking to them at the Saints Hotel. Bobby said that Jim Mora wants good soldiers. And so far, the Saints are playing as if it was a war. They are bringing it aggressively on defense.
Well, all the players that we talk to, you know, the attitude of the team is very good. They all feel very strongly in the fact that they are going to get better from here on in. They feel they're capable of beating anybody they play. And as long as they feel that way and play that way, well, then, of course, it can happen.
Second down and 10. The Rams still at their own 12. Anderson in motion. Over the middle to Damone Johnson. Johnson to the 30 before Gene Atkins. And Dave Waymer bringing down. A gain of 18.
See what happens, they send a man in motion, and everybody's looking where Ellard is. They want to double him. They're worried about Anderson, and then they forget about the tight end. He comes coming across underneath, wide open, and of course, you know, both quarterbacks do a terrific job of reading one-for-one coverage. And Everett did a perfect job of reading and hitting the tight end.
First down at 30. Complete to Holohan. And Holohan to the 38. Again, Gene Atkinson, the strong safety, made the tackle.
How about Johnson yesterday? We were talking to Vaughn Johnson, and we were talking about, he was bragging about everybody on this football team, how great everybody was on the Rams. And then he said, but I've got to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you, he said, you know that Holohan, he said he catches a pass and then he jumps up in the air, catches it for 3 yards and makes all kinds of noise or racket. He said, I'm looking forward to really splattering him tomorrow.
Well, he didn't have a chance that time.
No, he didn't.
Second down and 1. Robert Del Pino hopping and skipping to the 40. He'll be close to a first down, depending on where the spot is made. Jim Wilkes making the tackle for New Orleans. It is enough for a Los Angeles first down. Del Pino, in his second year out of the University of Missouri, comes out. And the Rams put their first down package in.
One thing about both teams, they're not going to lose their poise. They're going to play good. They're going to continue to saw wood and try to make something happen, regardless of what the score is.
Play action. And underthrown to Bell. Everett threw it into the ground. Bell was well covered, and Everett was getting pressure.
I couldn't tell, but it looked like it might have even been deflected.
Could have been. One of the things, Hank, about Jim Everett that his teammates and coaches certainly appreciate is the way he has kept his head under all the attention and stardom that he's gotten the last 2 years.
Well, especially in Los Angeles. And, of course, he says the only thing that's really important to me is my guys and this team. That's the only thing that matters.
Everett had hit 6 in a row before that incompletion. Gaston Green running over his own man. Waymer almost got him in the backfield. Jim Wilkes and James Geathers on the stop.
It's really interesting to watch this team play because regardless how they start out and what the intention is, they always wind up not running beyond the numbers. They're always doing business between the numbers. And watch for it. There was another illustration of it. They're pulling linemen. They're trying to get outside, but they cut it up inside those numbers.
Third down and 8. You'd have to believe it's a passing situation here. The 7th play of this drive from the Rams 42. And Everett sacked inside the 30. Pat Swilling and Ricky Jackson get to him. The second time Everett has been sacked.
And those two love to rush the quarterback in an obvious passing situation. You better get a head on them or else they're going to go right by you. And that's exactly what happened on the play. Swilling and Jackson.
Dale Hatcher hitting it to Rod Harris. Harris at the 32. Trying to get away, he cannot. Clifford Hicks with good form in the open field. And with 8:43 to go in the second quarter, after a 38-yard punt, the Saints still lead by 3. John Robinson was complaining to the officials after the punt return and said with disbelief, I can't believe you didn't see that. But however, on the play, apparently Jim Everett, who was hidden behind those towels, was hurt. And one of the doctors is administering to him, and I think they have partially taken down his pants, and that's the reason for the towels there. Something with his hip. Saints first and 10. Hilliard, nowhere to go. The Rams doing a good job of blocking up every hole on the left side.
And that time Hebert really had a good situation on the left side. They had a one-on-one situation. And here we see Mark Herman, who also played his collegiate football at Purdue University. Great anticipator, terrifically bright guy, doesn't have a strong arm, can't move very well, but he reads defenses terrifically well and makes the right call.
And if Everett, of course, is seriously injured, he may be in there. Hebert again with good protection. And he completes it to Eric Martin. Martin down to the 15. Floyd Turner with a fine block downfield to get him extra yardage. It's a gain of 51 yards on a scramble by Hebert.
And the block on Vince Newsom was really a great block. And give a lot of credit to Bobby Hebert. You know, a lot of people don't think he can move like he does. He's very deceptive. He's long-legged, kind of lumbering, but can really move and get out of trouble when he has to.
Somebody just went down in the huddle. It looked like Brent Perryman may have a severe cramp or hamstring pull, and he just fell over in the huddle. His leg cramping up so seriously that he could no longer stand. So Everett on the sideline now getting redressed. He may have gotten a hip pointer, and they're applying some ice.
I think that's what's happened.
And Perryman being attended to as well. We have 7 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the second quarter. New Orleans 10, Los Angeles 7. Both injuries would appear to be minor. Let's go back and look at Bobby Hebert scramble around, get away from a couple of Rams, and get a 51-yarder off.
And the thing about him is, you know, he's very strong. He's looking, he's dancing there in the pocket. He escapes. Look at the straight arm. You don't see backs do that very often. But the straight arm permitted him to get away from a would-be tackler and get the ball downfield. And, of course, Martin does the rest. Look at a good block downfield on Newsom.
So Perryman now walking off under his own power. Just looked like his leg cramped up into a terrible knot.
Well, that sometimes happens, you know, when you're used to playing on synthetic turf, and then you go out and play on a very soft field. Sometimes that happens.
The legs get stretched a little extra as the turf gives way. 1st and 10 at the Rams 15. Turner in motion. And somebody moved. It looked like Hobie Brenner, the tight end for New Orleans, moved, and Kevin Green hammered him. Flags fly, and we'll see if, in fact, Brenner drew Green offsides.
We have a false start, number 85, first down.
And that is the first penalty against the New Orleans Saints, moving it back to the 20.
Here we see Hobie Brenner, number 85 on the right part of your screen. You see him move, and he can't do that once he's in a three-point stance. And Green is alert enough to take advantage of it by coming across the line of scrimmage and giving him a shot. And there's a penalty on the play.
So now it's 1st and 15. Hayward the lone setback. Hill in motion. Hebert over the middle, complete to Martin. Down to the 10 and maybe the 9. Mel Owens, who missed Martin on the 51-yarder, in on the stop with Mike Wilcher.
You know, Martin is not only a good receiver, but he's one of the toughest guys coming across the middle that you will see in this league. Reading it perfectly, gets Martin coming across the middle, gets hit from the backside, the front side, and still maintains possession of the ball and good control. Second down for the Saints.
Gain of 11. So it's 2nd and 4. That's a 9. Hebert tucks it under and is run out of bounds by Jerry Gray at about the 2.5. It'll be 1st and goal.
Here we see Hebert again, back in the pocket, looking, and then he tries to escape to the outside, looking to throw the ball to somebody downfield. Nobody open, and he does the best he possibly can and takes the ball down to about the 2-yard line. A good scramble by Bobby Hebert.
And you can see that his jersey is soaking wet as he went off. He went right into a big puddle of water. And look what the Saints have done in 1st and goal situations. 11 of 11 they have scored. Dalton Hilliard trying to get outside. Touchdown! Brad Edelman, number 63, with a big block to spring him.
And Hilliard knew exactly where he had to go, no hesitation. Watch number 63 come out. Look at Hayward come out and get a block on Wilcher, just enough to slow him down so Dalton Hilliard can jump to the outside and go in for the touchdown.
Morton Anderson for the extra point. John Fourcade, the backup quarterback, will do the holding. And Anderson hooks it badly and misses it. Take a picture of that. You won't see it very often, but New Orleans extends their lead to 16-7 with 6:53 to go in the first half. Morton Anderson misses an extra point for only the second time in the last 4 seasons, but the Saints still lead by 9. Ron Brown at the 6. And he's running a bounce at about the 24 by Robert Massey. A 5-play, 65-yard scoring drive, less than 2 minutes. And the key play, Hebert's scrambling pass that turned into a 51-yard gain.
And the movement by Hebert was really the key. And the straight arm, beautiful straight arm, carrying the ball in his left hand, straight arms for the quarterback, unusual for a quarterback to do, gets the ball. And the great thing, he got it right on the numbers again to Eric Martin. Martin runs with the ball very well once he catches it, and another big play for the Saints.
Martin with good reason to be happy. The Rams 1st and 10 at their own 24. Penalty flag down. So is Greg Bell. It looked like the Saints jumped outside, offsides. Frank Warren moving into the neutral zone. And that is the indication from Fred Wyant.
Offside, number 73, 5 yards, first down.
So 290-pound Frank Warren got it going and couldn't stop it in time. I can identify with that.
Yeah, it's hard once you get rolling to put the brakes on.
The Rams have run the ball 10 times and gained a total of 10 yards. So no running game for them yet today. 1st and 5 after the penalty. Bell close to a first down to the 34. Wayne Martin hauling him down. One thing that Greg Bell says makes him a good runner, he told us, is the vision. He feels that he has excellent vision and he can see. And you know, you look at some guys, Hank, and they look like they run with their head down all the time. Doesn't make any difference if they have good vision.
There's 5 other. Yeah, look at Anderson changing his cleats.
Complete. Buford McGee. First down. Out to the 47. Sam Mills bumped him out of bounds after a gain of 12. And Everett is getting pressure even when he gets the ball off.
If we see him again, right on the money.
Over 100 yards. 1st and 10 Los Angeles at the 47. Good protection this time. And complete to Ellard. Ellard to the New Orleans 46. For a gain of about 7. Robert Massey covers him there.
Ellard that time found the zone, the hole in the zone, and just anchored in that area. And of course, Everett hit him right on the numbers.
Ellard says that one of the reasons that he's been able to have a great year is because the Rams now have such a fine group of receivers with Willie Anderson, Pete Holohan coming on, Ron Brown, Aaron Cox being healthy. They can't concentrate on him. Bell picks a good hole. First down to the 36. Dave Waymer on the tackle. A gain of 10.
We see Newberry now, the left guard, Doug Smith, and also Slayton coming off the ball. Bell reads it. That's the nice thing about being back there 7 yards. As I mentioned that a little while ago, he's got 2 extra yards to read the defense, and he read it, broke to the inside, and made a nice gain on the play.
That's the longest run of the day for Los Angeles, a gain of 10. Take to Bell. Pressure from the backside. Pat Swilling sacking Jim Everett. 3rd sack for New Orleans. Now let's take a timeout, go to New York to Brent Musburger for a CBS News update.
Well, Steve, let me summarize what the Commissioner of Baseball, Fay Vincent, has just announced in San Francisco. The World Series between Oakland and the Giants will be resumed, but not on Tuesday night. Instead, Game 3 will be played Friday night in Candlestick Park. Game 4 Saturday in Candlestick. If needed, 5 there, too. They will take a day off, and then 6 and 7 would be back in Oakland on Tuesday and Wednesday. So, again, the World Series to resume, but not until Friday night in Candlestick Park. Let's now send you back to Steve.
Thanks, Brent. That really is not a big surprise that they decided not to go on Tuesday. Everett sacked again, and Frank Warren just ran over 2 linemen to get to him.
Warren, number 73. Jackie Slater setting up. But Warren just splits Slater, who was blocking outside, and 61 Slayton. And he goes right through there for the sack.
And New Orleans has sacked Everett 4 times. The Rams have yet to get to Bobby Hebert. So now the Rams are all the way back to their own 44, 3rd down and 30.
They'll run the ball here. No, they're going to throw it again.
Everett under pressure again. Gets it away, but it's incomplete. Thrown behind Henry Ellard. Jim Wilkes got Everett by the jersey, but Everett was able to get it away. Nonetheless, it's 4th and 30. New Orleans front line and linebackers have been all over the Rams' backfield. Hatcher on again. Rookie Rod Harris at his 15. Good punt. Fair catch called for and taken at the 12. Best punt of the day by Hatcher, a 44-yarder with no return. Well, next Saturday, CBS Sports brings you college football action and, of course, a great game yesterday. The Fighting Irish remaining undefeated with a 28-24 hard-fought seesaw fight with the Trojans. Alabama, in a high-scoring affair, remaining unbeaten, beating Tennessee by 17. And so next week, Alabama will be taking on Penn State. That'll be at 2:30 Eastern Time, right here on CBS. College football next Saturday. New Orleans now with their worst field position, 1st and 10 at their own 13, but they lead 16-7. Hilliard to the 16 for a gain of 3, dragged down by Frank Stan.
You know, there was an overshifted defense that time. They ran to where all the folks were. The left area was really wide open. Look at all the people on the right side. Look at on the left side, the big hole between the guard and also the tackle. But they choose to go right side, and it's one of the few times Hilliard didn't take advantage of cutting inside a little sooner and get up the field. Looked like he might have had a chance, but went too wide.
Hayward, the lone setback. Turner in the slot comes in motion. Hayward banging for a couple is all. Maybe to the 18. Mike Peel in a defensive tackle for the tackle. So it'll be 3rd down. And the clock running down to the 2-minute warning. The 2-minute notification, as they like to say, before the end of the first half, with New Orleans leading 16-7 over the Rams. Saints by 9, thanks in large part to their defense. And here in the final 2 minutes of the first half, each team with 2 timeouts remaining. And the Saints with the football, but they are faced with a 3rd and 5. So far, their defense and the aggressiveness keeping the Rams from being able to run, and the big plays and fine performance by Bobby Hebert, who's 10 of 13 for 153 yards so far, have been the key.
They've got one-on-one on the outside receivers.
4 wideouts. 3rd and 5. Dumps it over the middle. Martin with a one-handed catch. Down at the 24. No, it's incomplete, they say. Eric Martin appeared to grab the ball, but it's ruled incomplete.
It looked like he did have it. He just broke inside. He was open. And it looked like he might have started to slip or something because he lost his footing about the time he was trying to catch the ball. One thing that's interesting to watch Hebert when he's in that shotgun formation, he takes as much time, looks at the clock, and doesn't get the ball snapped till about 4 seconds, maybe to get a pre-read on the defense.
Tommy Barnhart, the punter, is on. The first time today that the Saints have had 3 plays and punted. And he hangs it up there high. Darrell Henley makes the fair catch at the 49. Terry Gray with a block prior to the fair catch, so the Rams will have good field position. Next Sunday, right here on CBS, you will see either Atlanta at New Orleans. The Rams will be in Chicago, Tampa Bay at Cincinnati. Of course, it all gets underway at 12:30 Eastern time with the NFL today. And then the second game of the doubleheader, you'll see either Philadelphia, Denver, or Washington. We'll be visiting the LA Raiders right here in Los Angeles, just up the coast. And these 4 gentlemen will get it all kicked off as usual at 12:30 Eastern time with the NFL today. 1st and 10 from the 49. Everett firing. Waymer intercepts. Waymer has help. Buford McGee runs him out of bounds at about the 17. Dave Waymer with his 4th interception of the year. Henry, I don't think Damone Johnson ever saw the ball.
No, I don't think he did either. Look at the jump. Look at the jump, and he was the only guy open on the play, really. He read the quarterback's eyes, it looked like, and he got in proper position. Talking to the coaches about Waymer, they all say that he's doing a terrific job at the safety position, and they wish they would have been able to put him at that safety position 10 years ago because he's doing a great job at that spot.
Well, he's in his 10th year, and he is 1 interception now away from the New Orleans team record. Tommy Myers holds it, and Waymer should break it. Hilliard just inside the 15 for a gain of a couple. Mike Peel making the initial hit on Dalton. Clock running with 1:20 to go in the half. Saints leading by 9 and threatening 2nd down and 8 at the 14. Hayward in motion. Good protection. Hebert uses the umpire for a screen and gets near the 10. Ed Biffick, the umpire, was doing his job, and Hebert used him beautifully. Now the Saints call a timeout with 47 seconds left.
The protection really wasn't that bad on that play. He couldn't find anybody open, but he sees that gap looking on the left side of the center and the left side of the Edelman, the left guard, and he makes a decision and takes up right up the middle and veers to the left a little bit, but he picks up some yardage on the play. Really a good quick decision on the part of Bobby Hebert.
They mark it right on the 10, where it will be 3rd down and 4. One of the things, Hank, in being in New Orleans, you know, and hear this, I'm sure, all the time, is the Saints have been criticized for relying on the great leg of Morton Anderson and having an offense that settles for the field goal too often. So here, with a 3rd down play and deep in Rams territory, they obviously would prefer to punch it in there.
Well, I don't know how you can criticize with the way they've won. I don't know how you can criticize what they try to do.
NFL at halftime with Brent Nerve scores and all the highlights on the NFL Today, moments away, the halftime report. The bottom line is winning.
That's the only thing that matters.
Some people just don't like the way it happens sometimes.
Coaches do, though.
W's are what they get paid for.
That's right.
In and out of the hands of Lonzell Hill. Knocked away by Kevin Green. Fine defensive reaction as Hill had it and Green came by and knocked it out of there. So it's 4th down. And And Anderson's unit comes on for the field goal attempt.
Lonzell that time just got off the line of scrimmage and saw the hole between the linebackers and anchored in that spot. The ball was thrown a little bit high, and as a result, as he tried to bring it back down, it was knocked right out of there. Ball's incomplete.
Anderson has made 8 of 12 this year. This is a 27-yard attempt. And it is perfect. 39 seconds remaining in the first half. And the New Orleans Saints extend their lead now to 12 points, 19-7 over the Rams. Jim Mora has quite a contingency of people here in Southern California, some 40 tickets today, and the reason is because he's a Southern California native. In fact, he went to Occidental College here in Eagle Rock, California, and one of his teammates there was the current Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Jack Kemp, who was, of course, the quarterback for Occidental, and Jim Mora was a receiver. They played together here. Eagle Rock, a town between Glendale and Pasadena, just north of Anaheim Stadium.
And Jim said that Jackie Kemp always wanted to be a professional football player. At that particular time, why there weren't any players in the National Football League from Occidental College, he wanted to be the first one, and he wound up being exactly that.
Well, that's having a goal and achieving it, and that's the kind of guy that Jack Kemp certainly has been. Of course, Jim Mora hasn't exactly been unsuccessful himself. John Robinson, of course, has now been the Rams head coach longer than anybody else in their history, and that's hard to believe. JR in his 7th year here.
And it's hard for him to believe that they're not running the ball better. He feels good, anytime they win, but if they don't run in the process, he feels a little bit let down. And he's got to feel let down here so far because they haven't been able to run except for about 28 yards in the first half.
Anderson pops it up, and Del Pino takes it at the 16, slipping and falling as he crosses the 25. So the wet field has come into play on more than one occasion with the overnight rain, especially along those sidelines. And a reminder, with just 35 seconds remaining in the half, the NFL Today halftime report. Brent Nerve will bring you up to date on all the scores, games that were completed earlier, games that are in progress right now, scores, highlights, and the latest from the NFL Today. When the Rams have had the ball in Saints territory to begin, they've scored. When they've had it in their own territory, they have not. Everett gets it away and completes it, or was it incomplete? Holohan, no, did not hold on. One official saying yes, the other saying no, and it's an incompleted pass. So the clock stops on the incompletion with 28 seconds left in the half. And in spite of that fact, the Rams will go without a huddle. The officials have asked for a timeout. Second down and 10. And they may be reviewing it. I wonder if they are, Hank.
He might be.
Our replay official, Fritz Graff, who was, of course, a long time on the field official.
The play stands is called incomplete. Second down.
He evidently didn't have possession.
So it's back at the 26. And it's Holohan again, and there, right on top of him, is Vaughn Johnson, who said he was going to try to give Pete a little extra shove. He's also, I think, talking a little trash right now.
Yes, and I think, he used the word splatter, and he tried to splatter him that time right there, try to make a pancake out of Holohan.
Johnson told us last night he really likes to play the Rams because they are a team that comes right at you. And he likes that. Of course, he can do a little coming right at you himself. So the Rams call a timeout to stop the clock with just 20 seconds remaining in the half. And they will have a 3rd down and 1 at their own 35. been a tough first half for Jim Everett, who's had people in his face or around his legs all day.
Well, the thing that's tough is anytime that you have to throw, and you can't run the ball against the New Orleans Saints, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in for a long, long afternoon, and that's what's happening here this afternoon.
Third down and 1 with the big number on the right-hand side, the 20 seconds remaining. Everett getting away from pressure again. Anderson has it intercepted, pulled away at the last second by Milton Mack. Mack's second interception of the year and the second interception for Everett on the day.
Yeah, you hang it up there that long, you're going to be in trouble. Mack played the ball very, very well and makes the interception. Everett is flushed out of the pocket, goes over to the left hash mark to throw the ball, but look how long it's up in the air, and look at the perfect timing by Mack, number 24, who leaps up and makes the interception.
I don't think that Willie Anderson saw him. I think Willie Anderson may have seen the defender Brett Maxey come over. He may not have known that Milton Mack was back there.
Well, I think what he did, he took his eye off the ball and off of the receiver, and then lost it, and of course came up with the interception.
Aaron Cox appeared to catch an arm or something in the throat as he was down and injured. Milton Mack out of Alcorn State with pick number 2. So the Saints with 10 seconds left on the clock here in the half have it first and 10 at their own 11. And Hebert will drop to one knee, and the clock will run out. So the Saints have done what they came to do. They have done it in the fashion they knew they had to do it, and they've done it at least for the first half. So we'll see what kind of adjustments the Rams can make under John Robinson, as the Saints have really taken it to the Rams here on their home turf in the first half, leading 19-7.
Yeah, they've beat them in all categories, really, in this first half. Specialty teams, defense, offense, every way you could beat a team in the first half. That's exactly what the New Orleans Saints have done so far. You got to remember, however, there's 2 more quarters.
That's right. Well, that's the end of the first half. Hank and I will be back shortly. 19-7, New Orleans leading.
Take advantage of it like the Saints have done, then nothing else matters. Plus the fact that you have to give the Saints an awful lot of credit. They're winning the war up front, both offensively and defensively. They're controlling the line of scrimmage, and it's just that sweet and that simple. That's it.
And then illustrated by the 4 sacks New Orleans has been able to get against Jim Everett, while the Rams have not been able to get to Bobby Hebert. They have really won the war up front.
And we talked about that being one of the goals going into the football game. 4 at the end of the game. They already got 4 at halftime.
New Orleans with the lead will also get the football to start the second half. Mike Lansford kicking off. Rod Harris from the goal line. Out to the 25, and Anthony Newman brings him down. Second half has not been the favorite half for the New Orleans Saints this year. They lost to Green Bay after a big lead. They lost to Tampa Bay after a tie at half. They lost to Washington after leading. And they lost to San Francisco after leading just by 7 at the half. Last week against the Jets, however, they held on, had a better second half, but of course they were not playing the same caliber of team either. Hebert and the Saints first and 10 at their own 25. And right back to it and complete to Lonzell Hill. First down, New Orleans at the 42, a gain of 17. Vince Newsom with the tackle.
And there again, no rush. And Hebert, as accurate as we talked about him being, puts that right on the money again. Great throw by Bobby Hebert. Good protection by the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints.
That is the first catch by Lonzell Hill, whom they call Mo. 70 yards. Hilliard bouncing off his own guard and trapped for a loss. Kevin Green and Mel Owens bring him down in the backfield.
That was an unusual formation for them to run from. They normally throw from that formation, and I think they try to destroy the keys that they've established so far this season. Here's a formation with Hilliard way back on the left side. The two linemen pulling on the left side, the guard and the tackle, both get tangled up, never get a chance to get out in front of the ball carrier, and it's a messed up play.
From the snap, it was a messed up play. Second down and 12. Hilliard again. To about the 46. And again, Hank, each team's trying to run the ball, but neither team's having a lot of success.
Well, the matchup, we talked about that earlier, too. The matchup physically, I think, however, when the New Orleans Saints have possession of the ball offensively, they have a distinct advantage from a size standpoint on the defensive line of the Los Angeles Rams, especially when they have 5 linebackers in the game like they do on many occasions.
That's Anthony Newman, the safety, who has apparently suffered a leg injury or perhaps only a cramp. Certainly you'd rather see it be a cramp than a joint-related problem to either the ankle or the knee, but they are apparently working on the ankle. He's got enough tape on there. It's a wonder he could have anything happen to his ankle.
Yeah, you wouldn't think anything would penetrate that tape.
Like a soft cast. Nonetheless, you can see that Anthony Newman is in pain. We have 13:07 to go in the third quarter. New Orleans on the opening possession here of the second half, leading 19-7. And they will have a third down and 6. Darrell Henley, the rookie out of UCLA, replaces Newman in the defensive backfield for the Rams. There's Darrell. Hebert will go to the shotgun.
And look how long he'll wait, watching that clock to make sure it gets down to about 4 seconds so he can predetermine what the defense is trying to do. There, they see the movement. Now he knows what they're going to do. He knows where to throw the football.
And he just does get it away, and it is complete to Turner. Turner running away from everybody for a touchdown. The New Orleans Saints with big plays on third down and 6, a 54-yard touchdown to Floyd Turner.
And here it is from where the quarterback stands. Here again, the key was that he waited long enough so he could predetermine what the defense was going to be. Turner makes the catch in the middle area. A couple of missed tackles, outspeeds everybody else, and he goes in there and gives the scorekeeper a little business. They change it. 6 points on the board.
They went right after the rookie Darrell Henley, whom he caught the pass in front of. Morton Anderson for the extra point. It is good. And Floyd Turner's first NFL touchdown. The rookie from northwestern Louisiana turns out to be the longest of the year for the New Orleans Saints, who now lead big. Threw off and his ankle injured, apparently. And he will leave the game. New Orleans leading 26-7. Morton Anderson will kick it off. Floyd Turner with the big play. Brown watches it bounce around and picks it up at the 10. Flag goes down as Brown goes out of bounds at the 25. The flag was thrown behind him as Antonio Gibson and Robert Massey ran him out.
Half the distance, First down.
Holding on the run back, and so the Rams again will have horrible field position. Next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time, it'll be Alabama and Penn State as two top 20 teams butt heads right here on CBS Sports. College football next Saturday beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time. Rams again not enjoying field position. 1st and 10 at their own 9. Ellard in motion. Greg Bell nowhere to run as he gets a couple, maybe out to the 11 is all. Pat Swilling and Dave Waymer right up on the line of scrimmage. Here's the New Orleans scoring drive, and one big play just about did it all, Hank. It only took 4 plays to get down there. The 54-yarder to Turner.
Lightning struck.
Well, they had a 51-yard to Eric Martin earlier that set up a touchdown. Saints with a big play. Everett, nobody to throw to. Ricky Jackson hits him at the 12 as he gains about a yard is all. And again, Everett under pressure. Jim Wilkes in there.
Yeah, and of course, that time Everett, whenever Everett backs straight back in the pocket to throw the ball, he definitely is always going to throw the ball or try to throw the ball to his left. When he goes back over a shoulder, then chances are he's going to throw the ball in the middle area or to the right. And that was very obvious that time, but the pocket caved in, had no place to throw the ball, and sack on the play.
So it's 3rd down and 8. Under pressure again, dumps it off, incomplete, intended for Ellard. But again, the pressure as Vaughn Johnson was coming from the linebacker spot. And Everett just had to unload it.
Well, I tell you what's happening with the Rams right now. They continue to throw from the pocket, and they can't throw from the pocket unless they block much better than what they're doing right now. He's got to move the pocket from side to side and try to eliminate some of that pressure on inside.
Dale Hatcher, who's not a long punter, hangs it up there. Rod Harris at the 50. Harris inside the 40 and down around the 37. So the field position story continues with a 39-yard punt followed by a 14-yard return. And again, missed tackles on the part of the Rams, allowing Harris to bring it deep into Rams territory. New Orleans in command here in the 3rd quarter with a big lead. The football deep in Los Angeles territory. 1st and 10 at the 37. And field position continues to be the story of the day, and the Saints have had it. Hilliard alone behind Hebert. Turner. Martin for the touchdown. Eric Martin. But there is a penalty flag back near the line of scrimmage. It may, however, be against the Rams. And it was. Eric Martin with yet another big play.
And it starts with the pass protection. Look at this. Look at the good pass protection Bobby's got. He steps up into the pocket, throws the ball deep downfield, and Martin catches it about belt high. It looked like he was going to miss it. And watch Bobby Hebert's reaction. He's officiating the game. Oh, he can't believe it.
I think he saw the flag.
Yeah.
He was looking at that flag, but the flag was against the Rams.
That's exactly what he evidently saw. Thought it was going to be nullified. But it's a touchdown for the New Orleans Saints.
Morton Anderson for the extra point. Perfectly through the middle. And it is now New Orleans 33, Los Angeles 7, with 10:44 to go in the 3rd. Saints, Henry, have been able to not only get the field position, but then capitalize with big plays. We're in Anaheim Stadium. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram, where the New Orleans Saints took control from the very first play of the game with field position and tough defense, and they have now jumped out to a 33-7 lead over the Rams.
And you don't realize what a great advantage it is to start the ball in the other on the other team's in the other team's territory, you start on the 20, and it's a totally different concept offensively. You can't throw the ball. You can't do the things you want to do. You get on the other side of the 50, and that's what the Saints have been able to do, and they've taken advantage of it. Good play selection. And again, I still, you just marvel at how accurate Bobby Hebert is. I tell you, I've watched him practice. He throws everything, long ones, short ones, outside, inside, hooks, whatever you want to throw. He throws them very accurately, especially when he has time to throw. And even a lot of times today, falling away or moving, he's throwing some strikes.
Hebert throwing that one to Eric Martin. It's the 5th reception for Martin for 116 yards. And of course, the touchdown. So Anderson kicking it off. Del Pino and Brown get jammed up. It's Del Pino with the ball to the 21. Stopped by Brett Maxey and Brian Ford. Well, the Rams, every time that the Saints have had the ball to begin in their territory, the Saints have scored. So that not only has there been a lot of pressure on the Rams defense, they haven't been able to handle that pressure. Now the onus is going to be on the Rams offense to get something going.
The way they're doing it, trying to do it, is very, very difficult. But again, I don't care what you try to do. If you don't get it done up front, you're going to be in trouble. And that's exactly where they are right now, the Rams.
Flags fly as the whistle stops play at the snap.
False start, number 67, 5 yards, first down.
That's Duval Love. Called for the false start. So the Rams' problems continue as the ball is moved back to the 17. And it'll be 1st and 15. Looking for Ellard, has him at the 21. Ellard pulled down by the face mask by Gene Atkins, the strong safety. And Gene, you can hold those hands up all day. It's too late.
He was trying to hide. He was smiling. He knew what he did.
We have a personal foul. Face mask, number 28, 15 yards, first down.
We'll see it here over on the left side of your screen. Watch it coming in right now. He grabs the face mask and penalty on the play.
And it was the flagrant variety. The major penalty, moving the ball out to the 37. 1st and 10, Los Angeles.
Today at the stadium gates, we go to help those victims in San Francisco.
Just over 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Bell, big hole. To the 44. Knocked down by Robert Massey and Wayne Martin.
Big hole on the right side. Jackie Slater. Look at the good push by Slater, the right guard. Also coming off the ball extremely well. Bell cutting to the right side and trying to get back up the numbers. But a big hole and a nice gain on the play.
Bell now has carried 11 times for 38 yards. 2nd down and 2. Quick pass to Del Pino. 1st down. Massey drags him down right at midfield.
And the Saints are playing a lot of zone. They naturally would, and they're trying to make them travel slowly. They're not going to give them anything big. Keep everything in front, make the tackle, and hope they get another turnover, another mistake on the part of the Los Angeles Rams.
One thing that the Rams are resisting, Hank, is throwing deep, trying to go for it all at one time. Down 33-7.
Well, that's the biggest mistake they can make unless they get the right kind of coverage and right field position.
Bell, another big hole inside the 40 of New Orleans. Knocked down by Robert Massey at the 39, a gain of 11, and another 1st down.
Duval Love, number 67, the right guard, and Jackie Slater. Watch them on the right side come off the line of scrimmage. They're blocking down. They get a kick out. Look at the block out in front. And a big hole. Buford McGee, number 24, really went through the hole and made a beautiful block on the linebacker.
Fake to Gaston Green. Everett completing to Ellard. And Ellard dances out of bounds at the 22, covered by Toy Cook. A 16-yard gain and another Rams first down. I think the Saints defense, Henry, has backed off a little bit with this big lead, not being as aggressive.
Well, I think subconsciously you do that if you're not careful, because you want to make sure you don't give anything long, and as a result you try to keep everybody in front, and sometimes you get a little passive.
Ripper Anderson in motion. Buford McGee out of the backfield and inside the 15. They'll mark it at the 14.
Looked like Jackson, the left linebacker, was offside.
And a flag on the play. Ricky Jackson is so quick, he has been called for that a number of times in trying to anticipate the snap count. Rams will probably decline it, however.
We have offside, number 57, declined, second down.
Gained 8, so it's 2nd and 2. Jim Everett has been under pressure from the word go, from the very first play. Sacked 5 times, hurried 6. 3 balls have been knocked down, 2 have been tipped, and he's had 2 picked off. So this drive, concentrating on the running game, and the Rams moving the ball. Incomplete, right at the feet of Henry Ellard in the end zone. He was covered by Robert Massey. So it'll be 3rd down and 2, still at the New Orleans 14.
I tell you, Massey is going to be a terrific player for the New Orleans Saints. Number 2 pick. Started right off the bat early in the season, and he just keeps getting better and better and better every week. Plus the fact that he's got a great temperament for that position.
Well, you know, that being a cornerback is probably got to be, other than maybe quarterback, the most difficult position, Hank, to come in and play well as a rookie.
That and the coach.
8th play of the drive on 3rd and 2. Bell has the first down. As he gets inside the 12 in the grasp of Pat Swilling.
You see how much better Bell looks running from the I formation back there about 7 yards. That time he headed for the right side of the center, saw the hole on the left side, took advantage of it, popped through there, got the necessary yardage, and was tackled by Swilling, number 56, from the backside.
Anthony Newman, you may have recalled, injured an ankle. The x-rays that were taken here at the stadium were negative, fortunately, but he will not return for the Rams. Bell goes out, Del Pino comes in. Ellard drops the ball. Troy Cook was right in front of him, and I don't know whether Cook either touched the ball or blocked his vision, but Ellard was open.
Yeah, he was, and it looked like there might have been a tip, and it looked like he was beyond the reach of Ellard. You couldn't tell for sure. Here we see the shot just barely coming into view. Can't tell there, but it looks like he might have tipped. He might have tipped the ball and prevented Ellard from making the catch.
So it's 2nd down and 10, still at the Saints 11. 33-7, New Orleans leading here in the 3rd quarter. Flags fly as Bell carries and stumbles inside the 10. It looked like Pat Swilling, number 56, may have jumped offside.
We have offside, number 56, 5 yards, 2nd down.
And here we see Swilling. Well, I wonder why you were eating those carrots last night.
That's why I use these binoculars. I could eat all the carrots in the world, but without these binoculars, I'd still be in trouble.
You know the amazing thing about the Rams, as much as they throw the ball, they throw very few screens and run very few draws. Unusual.
4th penalty on the Saints. 3 of those have been against the defense. 2nd down and 5. Into a crowd. Who has it? Both players coming up with the ball, Holohan and Sam Mills. We'll see how the new simultaneous catch rule is interpreted here.
Holohan walked away like no big deal. I got the ball. Let's see what they call.
Sam Mills still has it. He doesn't want to give it up. That's the head linesman, Jerry Bergman, number 17, talking to Fred Wyatt, the referee.
And the new rule says that you cannot take the ball away from the person if he has the initial possession. Maybe that's what they're calling. I don't know.
Sam Mills, who made the joint catch, appears to have hurt his leg.
We can see what happens.
After further review, the play stands. Third down.
They're giving it to Holohan. 3rd down and 1, just inside the 3-yard line, about 3rd and 2 almost. The Rams can get a 1st down inside the 1-yard line. They're on the 3.
Look at that left side.
Bell, he may have the 1st down, but he stopped short of the goal line. Pat Swilling, the first one's there.
That was the area to hit because there was a nice hole on that side. Good takeoff. And the important thing is he gets close enough to get the necessary yardage for the 1st down.
Frank Warren helped him out by bending him back a little bit to be sure.
Now they're trying to get the mark.
Rams are kind of arguing maybe over the spot of the ball. Greg Bell saying, I got farther than that. But it's either going to be 4th down or 1st and goal.
I thought when he slammed in there he made it, but I don't know where they marked it. He didn't. It looks like he didn't make it.
Looked to me like he got down to the 1-yard line, but they spotted the ball at about the 1.5. So now the big horses are coming in, and it appears they're going to go for it. They have no choice, really, on 4th down and about 6 inches to go.
For 72 at tight end.
And normally the rule of thumb is less than a yard, you're going to let the quarterback run a quarterback sneak. I'm sure that will not happen here. I'm sure he'll give it to a back if they're going to run the ball. And look at that left side outside. It's really there.
Take the bell. Everett passing, a touchdown, Damone Johnson. On 4th and inches, with everybody jammed in there, the Rams pull the play action pass to Damone Johnson.
And they do a good job of faking on the play. The right guard is pulling. And, of course, Damone Johnson is wide open. He looked like he ran out of the bleachers on that play.
Lansford on for the extra point. And it is good. Now, with 5:25 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Rams with an impressive drive to make it New Orleans 33, Los Angeles 14. The Rams drive 78 yards on 12 plays, just over 5 minutes off the clock. And they reduce the deficit, as they might say in Washington. But it's still a huge deficit. Lansford kicks off. Fumbled at the 3-yard line and then picked up by Rod Harris, who gets it out to about the 18. Let's go back and look at the touchdown again and watch for 67 Duval Love.
Watch the right guard, number 67. Look at that. He's coming out, loses the block, gets an outside position. Watch the leg whip here. Look at that. Whoop.
Just a little extra.
Yeah, a little extra technique there.
Those kind of smart. Duval trying to do his job. And Damone Johnson caught it for the touchdown. So Bobby Hebert and the Saints, 1st and 10 at their own 18. Still with a comfortable lead, but lots of time left. Dalton Hilliard breaking out. Out to the 24, knocked down by Vince Newsom, the free safety.
The more you watch this game, the more convinced you are that they're just not don't have the ability physically to stop this team the way they're moving up and down the field. Talking about the Rams.
They're getting whipped along the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. And this last drive, the first time the Rams have been able to put anything together consistently. But they still trail. It's 33-14 New Orleans. Second down and 4. They're slipping and dumping it off. He had Doug Reed around his legs, and the timing of the play, Hank, was gone once he slipped on the wet turf.
Yeah, he went back and anchored, and as he put the right foot down, it slid. And Doug Reed, number 93, the left defensive end, reading and seeing what's happening, finally gets rid of the tackle and comes in and ggets a shot at Bobby Hebert right about the time he got rid of the football.
Last week against the Jets, Hebert hyperextended his left knee. And he did have fluid drained from it and missed practice up until Thursday. So on this wet turf, even though he's wearing a brace, it could be some concern.
Looks like there's man-for-man coverage, and he loves this. He loves man-for-man coverage.
He just overthrows Turner. Floyd Turner had Clifford Hicks beat, but Hebert just overthrew him.
They had a bump and run on the outside, and automatically it was a side adjustment on the part of the quarterback and Turner. He's supposed to run up the field. And there's Bobby Hebert's reaction. Either he didn't run the right route, or else he's disappointed in himself for throwing the ball over the top and it falls incomplete.
The Saints are punting for only the third time in this game as Tommy Barnhart comes on.
And the Rams have to go after him some. He's a young kicker. They've got to test him and try to get a cheap play on a block kick somewhere along this game.
Clifford Hicks is back to receive. Pressure on him, and they may have got a hand on the ball. Hicks is going to let it roll around the 44 of Los Angeles. Sam Mills. Brent Farinez it is who gets in there. Only a 32-yard punt as the young kicker Tommy Barnhart gets the pressure from Brent Farinez of the Rams. Rams enjoy good field position. After the tipped punt, Brent Farinez getting in there to get a hand on it. And Jim Everett, who's completed 6 of his last 8, goes back to the air. Ellard, diving for the ball, has it hit him in the face mask. He was open, but he went down before he expected to, I guess, Hank.
Yeah, I think so. I think he lost his footing again. Bump and run defense, escapes from Massey, goes to the outside, comes back a little bit for the ball. He should have caught the ball. You know, there's no problem about that. He's got his face stuck in the mud after he dropped the ball, but that had no bearing on what happened before. He had a chance to catch the ball. He just dropped it.
Henry's not having a good day. That's the third ball that he could have caught but didn't. So it's 2nd and 10, still at the Rams 45. The protection intended for Willie Anderson, no flag, but it appeared as if Robert Massey was all over him. Certainly the Rams fans were looking for a flag.
Anderson coming off the ball, 83. Massey, look, he's looking at the quarterback on the inside, obviously playing his own defense. Then he takes a peek. And here's the ball in the air. Boy, he had that left-hander.
I don't know. I believe I'd have had to pull it out of my pocket on that one.
Yes, it looked like it was. Come across with that left hand. It looked like it was passing first.
3rd and 10. Everett over the middle, completing it to Holohan, who's trying to get the first down, but is short. He's covered right away by Vaughn Johnson.
You know, the amazing thing about what the Saints are doing, every time somebody catches the ball, there's people all over him. Right about the time he's ready to catch the ball, the coverage has been terrific.
And that's had a lot to do with the 4 sacks that Everett has suffered today. At times he has not found anyone open. The clock is running, the 30-second clock. 5 sacks of Everett, not 4. So it is 4th down and 2. 2 tight ends in the game. Holohan and Damone Johnson. Everett under some pressure gets it off. Incomplete, intended for Henry Eller. He was well covered by Toy Cook. And the Saints take over on downs.
See, the problem is here. Now watch Everett. Watch him going back in the pocket. Remember, I said he backs up. He's going to throw left. Here he's throwing left. But look at the way he throws the ball. His feet are parallel. He's falling backwards. Got no chance whatsoever to make a completed pass or throw the ball properly on that kind of a pattern.
Henry Eller tried to come back for the ball, but it was so far underthrown that he couldn't get there.
And you can't blame Everett. The protection has been murdered.
Saints again winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, and now they have the ball at their own 47, leading 33-14 in the waning moments of the 3rd quarter. Hilliard running hard, keeping those legs driving, even though he was in the grasp of Doug Reed, and he gets the ball to midfield. Hilliard now has carried 11 times for 26 yards. Hard to believe that this guy didn't really have as much publicity in college. Is the 3rd all-time rusher in the Southeastern Conference. Who are the other 2? Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson. That's pretty elite company.
Well, he's impressive. He is so hard to tackle. Terrific balance.
He gained only 3, 2nd down and 7. Hilliard again. Breaking more tackles. 1st down as he gets near the 40 of the Rams. Brent Fairnez and Mel Owens on the stop.
You know, he's a great finishing runner. You very rarely see anybody knock him backwards. He's always running forward.
And he just picked up 11 more. He runs a lot bigger than he is at 5'8" and 205.
He looks like you when you were a baby.
Yeah, that's what I weighed when I was born, I think, 205. First down. Hilliard again. 5 more yards as he gets down just inside the 35. Dragged down by Brent Fairnez, who's playing a lot here in the 2nd half. And another ankle taped, and that's the one of Anthony Newman, whose x-rays were fortunately negative.
Watch Hilgenberg, the center, on right, 99. Let's see what happens here on this block. Hilgenberg, even though he's a lot smaller, gets good leverage, gets his left hand in there, does a good job of holding, doesn't make any difference. The official didn't see it. Good technique on the part of Joel.
It's good technique when they don't see you, that's for
right.
sure. Hilliard cutting off the block, trying to pick up the 1st down, a couple of yards short as he gets knocked down near the 30. Fairnez, or Stams it is, and Vince Newsom on the tackle.
Well, they're going to stick an ice pick in the ball, let the air out of it, and keep running as much as they possibly can. They want to take as much time off the clock.
Well, their time of possession over the last 4 years has always been either 1st or 2nd in the National Football League, and it's the style of offense under Jim Mora to let that 30-second clock run even when they are not in this position. They like to control the football. Now with the 30-second clock 3 seconds behind the game clock, they're going to let it run out here in the 3rd quarter. That's the end of the 3rd quarter here in Anaheim with a score: New Orleans 33, Los Angeles 14. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Driven a Ford lately? The good time, great taste of McDonald's. And by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. So tap into the cold.
Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram for the final 15 minutes here in Anaheim. The rain has stayed away, but the New Orleans Saints have been raining down on the Los Angeles Rams as they lead 33-14. It is 3rd down and 1 at the Los Angeles 30. Hilliard, first down. Down to the 25 in the grasp of Vince Newsom. One of the #1 concerns, Hank, of John Robinson has been his defense, and they have been tested today and have been shown to be not equal to the task.
Well, again, the mismatch. It's a big, strong offensive line of the Saints, and that makes a big difference. That's why these games are always so close, because the matchups are really so even.
6th play of the drive as New Orleans keeps running that clock. And now preliminary movement on the line of scrimmage. It looked like Brad Edelman moved prematurely.
We have a false start. Number 63, 5 yards, first down.
Edelman, who's been bothered by a bad back, he's in there, but he came up too soon. In that San Francisco game, Joe Montana injured with a hyperextended knee, and the last report was not in the game. 14 minutes to play. The Saints trying to run all they can off the 30-second clock with every snap. First down and 15. Frazier running away from 2 more Rams as both Frank Stans and Vince Newsom miss him, and Leroy Irvin brings him down. Frazier, a rookie from northwestern Louisiana.
Watch Hilgenberg now again, number 61 on right. Look at the leverage. Look at the angle. He keeps himself between the ball carrier and the defensive tackle, 99 right. And even though he's not as big, he's got terrific leverage.
He's also got genes because he comes from a, well, semi-long line of centers. Has a brother in the NFL with the Chicago Bears.
He also wears them, too.
Here's the load. Ironhead Hayward bangs off Mike Wilcher and gets inside the 25. Well short of the first down. Hilgenberg, who, of course, played at Iowa. Here's the family. Jerry, his father was an All-American center. His brothers Jim and Jay both played at Iowa, and now Jay. And then Wally, his uncle, of course, had many great years for the Vikings, Wally Hilgenberg. And he had a great line, did Joel Hilgenberg. He said, we're the only family that plays catch not facing each other. I mean, they got to practice together, right?
Yeah, they ought to make a commercial.
That's right. 3rd down and 9 at the LA 22. High snap. Complete to Hill. And Mulhill to the 12. Washington and Newsom on the stop.
I hate to be repetitive, but you take that kind of a catch for granted and that kind of a pass for granted, but look at that pass. Now watch what happens. Look at the 2 guys right between the receiver. Look at this on the outside of the receiver. Look at the ball right between them, right perfectly thrown. You can't throw a ball any better than that.
It was rifled in there for a gain of 10 and a first down. As Hill comes out of the game, there's Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. And whatever he's been coordinating has been working. Saints with a 1st and 10 at the Los Angeles 12. We're down to under 12 minutes remaining in the game, with New Orleans leading 33-14. And again, they let that 30-second clock run down. Hilliard trying to find a hole. Inside the 10, knocked down by Michael Stewart and Vince Newsom. We're in Anaheim, California, a sold-out Anaheim Stadium, although some did not show and many have left. Steve Zabriskie and Hank Stram, where it's been all New Orleans since the word go. The Saints have controlled the line of scrimmage, Henry, and therefore the ball game.
They got 14 quick points right off the bat with good field position, took advantage of that, and the Rams have never been in the ball game since. I don't think they ever recovered from the shock, and they've never been able to do anything or make anything happen since.
They've only had one drive, has the Rams. A 78-yarder. The Saints have now held the ball for 7 minutes straight. Hilliard. Big hole. Touchdown. Stan Brock, number 67, with a good block to get Hilliard through a huge hole for another New Orleans score.
That's the right tackle, 67, Stan Brock. Look at the good push he gets on the inside. Makes the block, and of course, Hilliard has such great vision, good instincts, cuts right behind the block and goes into the end zone unmolested for the touchdown.
Morton Anderson splits the uprights as usual. And the New Orleans Saints now with an almost insurmountable 40-14 lead with 10:48 to go on the part of the New Orleans Saints, and that really is the story in the game. Not only that, but Bobby Hebert has been able to show Jim Everett a thing or two, as Everett has been one of the most ballyhooed quarterbacks around, and you've been talking, Coach, about Bobby Hebert, and he certainly is shining today.
Well, you know, the amazing thing about it was the fact that we talked to him yesterday. He said his knee was bothering him. He had a bad cold, and we didn't know whether he'd get out of bed this morning, but look at the way he's played.
He's had a great game. He's now close to 300 yards as Ron Brown elects not to return the kick from the end zone. And a 10-play, 53-yard drive. And look at the time of possession, 7:21. And they only went 53 yards. That shows you how the Saints are able to eat up that 30-second clock on every snap. Hilliard with 7 catches in his 3rd touchdown of the day. It is his first ever 3-touchdown game. A penalty on the kickoff. Here's Fred Wyatt.
We have offsides on the kicking team. We have holding on the receiving team. We'll re-kick.
Offsetting penalties, so they'll bring it back upfield. There were flags back at the kickoff point, the 35, and then flags down at the 25, or the 35 on the other side of the field. Let's go back for a minute, Hank, about the time of possession and the way the Saints grind it out. This is not new. I mean, here they have been first and second each of the last 2 years. This year, they're ahead of even their 34-minute time that set the pace in 87.
Well, the thing that really puts a lot of pressure and a lot of burden on a team is the fact, like the Rams, you know, they're a big play team, and all of a sudden, they don't think that possession is that important because they'll get it back with a big strike. And all of a sudden, that doesn't happen.
They don't get it back.
They don't get it back, and they don't have enough stuff to throw up against the wall and not enough sticks. And so you wind up in trouble and fighting a losing battle.
But look at this today. It's almost even. The Saints, however, have done a whole lot more with it and have enjoyed the better field position. Now this time, Brown brings it out 5 yards deep. And he doesn't make it to the 20 as he's knocked down around the 18. Brett Maxey right there with him. And we talked about how important it is for the Rams to be able to run the football and how they've had real problems the last 3 weeks in doing it. They're even below the average of the last 3 games.
Well, a game like this one, you have to kind of discount that because, you know, right off the bat, they're behind and they have to throw the ball more than they want to. And as a result, they fall into a pattern, and the longer they go and the more behind they get, the more they can pump the ball up and try to use the passing game.
Everett under pressure again. Fires. What a catch by Ellard. Henry Ellard with the fingertips at the 41. A 23-yard gain.
Play action pass again, and look at Everett again. Makes all the difference in the world when he has time to throw the ball. Look at this. He gets a little rush from the outside, steps up into the pocket, but is able to use his legs, use his shoulder, use his arm, and get the ball right on the target. That's what it's all about. You know, you assume when they throw the ball well that you just take that for granted, but it has to start with pass protection.
Ellard had to leave the game, and Everett going deep this time and completing it to Flipper Anderson at the 26 of New Orleans. Gene Atkins had the coverage. Willie Anderson, averaging almost 33 yards a catch, just picked up 33.
And he goes right by the corner. And it's what's happening on the play is they got double coverage on the play. Massey is covering short, and the safety is coming over, double coverage, but in spite of that, he threw the ball between the corner and also the safety.
That's called hitting the seam. And Anderson hauled it in for a 33-yard gain. Everett with time. Knocked away and almost picked off by Toy Cook. Pass was intended for Aaron Cox, and Cook came in at the last second.
A lot of folks there covering the receiver on that last play. It's a wonder it wasn't intercepted, and really should have been intercepted. And Toy Cook is disappointed that it didn't suck it up.
Henry Ellard getting some smelling salts on the sideline as he took a shot after that fingertip grab on the previous play, 2 plays ago. 2nd and 10. Blitz is on. Buford McGee inside the 20 to the 18. As Everett beat the blitz that time, Atkins and Waymer bring him down.
Hot receiver that time. He's supposed to block the linebacker, but when he's hot, he doesn't have to worry about blocking anybody. He just goes out on the pattern, and they throw the ball to him. That's what happened on that last play.
Denver's come back against Seattle, and you saw the 49ers leading in spite of the loss of Montana.
Phoenix, that's surprising, 31-20. Hogaboom must be back.
Scoring some points for a change. Buford McGee again. Dave Waymer makes the stop at the 11. And it's enough for a first down.
Here again, linebackers blitzing up the middle. Hot receiver. He's wide open going down the seam. Vaughn Johnson blitzing on the play, number 53. There you see him going through the gap. Nobody picked him up. But the receiver, McGee, was wide open and makes the catch on about the 10-yard line.
Rams 1st and 10 at the 11. 8.5 minutes left to go in the game. 6th play of the drive, but the Saints lead 40-14. Play action. Dumped off to McGee again. And Buford running hard down to the 3, possibly the 2. McGee, who at one time was an option quarterback.
I tell you, he was determined to get into that goal line. He lowered the head and used the shoulder pads and got as much out of that play as he possibly could.
Scores of games that were completed earlier today. Second down and 1. Knocked away at the last second, intended for Pete Holohan. Maxey was right there, along with Toy Cook. So it'll be 3rd down and 1 and 2 yards for the touchdown.
We have to make another point here, Steve, before we get too far along in this game. I think Jim Mora and his coaching staff have really done a terrific job. You talk about preparing a team properly, talking to them before the game. They expressed some of the thoughts that they had, and a lot of times coaches talk about what they want to do, and it never gets done. What's happened here this afternoon is just a little bit like exactly what they thought they might be able to do, and they've executed terrifically well.
Draw play, Del Pino stopped at the line of scrimmage. And again, the Saints continue to control the line of scrimmage. It was Vaughn Johnson who made the first hit on Del Pino. It's 4th down, a yard to go at the 2.
Now we see from the side, look at the linebackers blitzing. Look at Vaughn Johnson, 53, coming through there on a blitz. Nobody touched him, and he helped make the tackle. But look at all those white shirts and look at all those bodies around the ball carrier.
Rams going for it, as they must do, on 4th down. Touchdown! Damone Johnson. His 2nd touchdown pass of the day.
Damone Johnson coming right at the defense. And again, watch Everett. Watch how quickly he gets rid of the ball. He sees Damone coming right across the middle. Gets the ball to him right out in front of the numbers. And looks like Maxey finally wound up making the tackle on the play, but not after he made the touchdown catch.
Mike Lansford will barefoot it through there. And the Saints have started to come back. 6:47. Or rather, the Rams are coming back. It's now New Orleans 40, Los Angeles 21. Ellard may still not be sure whether he's on the home team or the visiting team today. He's still getting smelling salts occasionally, and of course has that ice pack on the neck. 61 points today. 21 by the Saints in the second half and 14 by the Rams. So far, the Saints not showing their tendency to fall down in the second half, and the little pooch onside kick grabbed by Greg Scales, the backup tight end. So Jim Moore and company putting guys with good hands up along the line.
Kicking team.
And the kicking team offside, so we'll see what they do. Probably will be refused. And it is refused. So next Sunday, it's a CBS doubleheader. NFL today beginning at all at 12:30. Atlanta will be at New Orleans. The Rams will be in Chicago. Tampa Bay at Cincinnati in the early games. And then the late games, you'll see either Philadelphia at Denver or Washington here in Los Angeles against the Raiders. And it all begins at 12:30 Eastern Time with Irv, Dick, Brent, and of course, our journalistic friend, Mr. Will McDonough, 12:30 on the NFL Today. First and 10 at the 37. New Orleans trying to run it out, and Hilliard trying to get to the outside. Newsome finally bulldogs him down by one arm, but Hilliard to the Rams 49 for a first down. A 14-yard gain, as Hilliard is having as big a day as Hebert is.
Well, he's had a lot of those, and you know, the great thing about him too is the durability. He plays all the time. Very rarely does anything happen to him, and that's usually the case with a halfback about that size. It's amazing how that size, they have usually a lot more durability than the taller back.
Not a lot of smiles on the bench of the Los Angeles Rams, as they were not expecting this. They were not alone in that regard, but the Saints have done exactly what they set out to do. Hilliard again breaking through. Hilliard to about the 43 of Los Angeles.
And you know, the Rams have three different alignments. They have one they call the Ram, another one they call the Eagle, and another one they call the Hawk. They've incorporated all three of them at different times this afternoon. And in regards to what they've done, nothing has been very efficient or very effective. The New Orleans Saints just line up and knock them right off the ball.
Well, one of the things that Stan Brock, number 67, New Orleans offensive lineman, told us last night was it's difficult to prepare for the Rams because of those different fronts. And they had to work a lot harder in practice to be ready. Whatever they did it right. Second down and 4. Rams may have jumped off sides. Hilliard hauled down by Sean Miller at the 45.
And Brock, the right tackle, number 67, is really one of the better tackles in the national.
Offside, number 98, 5 yards, first down.
Well, that's why Miller was able to get him so quickly. It was Miller who was offside.
Yes, but Brock really is one of the great tackles, I think, in the National Football League. And along with that, he's been a terrific leader for the New Orleans Saints and has played a very dominant role in the recent success that they've enjoyed.
The clock stopping on the penalty with 4:59 left to play.
You know, I talked to Jim Finks on the field before the game, and he said, well, we're 2-4, but I still think that probably we have the potential to be the best team we have had since I've been here and since Jim Moore has been here. I think we're going to consistently get better and better and better as we go along during the course of the season, and if this is any indication, why, he hit it right on the nose.
You saw Mark Herman warming up on the Rams sideline. Hilliard again, bouncing off tacklers, getting to about the 35 before he's driven back by Alvin Wright. And that clock keeps on running.
Trying to tackle him is like trying to catch a minnow in Lake Michigan.
He doesn't mind running in among the sharks either.
Well, I tell you, he's amazing. You think somebody's got him, and all of a sudden he's gone.
Now Hilliard will come out. 2nd down and 7. Clock continues to run with 4:20 left to go. And they've gone to Hilliard in the second half, and he has responded. Jim Moore giving him a little rest, and deservedly so. Hayward the setback. Ironhead has it. Mel Owens dragging him down, and Craig Hayward down to about the 31. Mark Giroux, number 59, making his first start since about midway through last season. And he has had about as many knee injuries as you'd like to have.
Well, he's had almost as many as our great linebacker and center, E.J. Hollop. E.J. had 11.
Whoa.
I think Mark has had 7. But, you know, he got hurt in the 12th game last year, and this is the first time he's played since. He was very enthusiastic about playing here this afternoon, and seemingly he's gotten through this thing all right because he's still playing.
Hebert under pressure from the blitz, and they get him. And it's Mark Giroux along with Kevin Green who sack Hebert, and that is the first time the Rams have been able to get to Hebert today.
And he timed that perfectly. He waited. Here you see him. He's waiting, delays a little bit, and then goes into the gap. Nobody picks him up. He goes right through the seam and makes the sack along with Green, 91. Kevin Green, 91.
That moves the ball back to the 40 of Los Angeles, where it's 4th down and 12, and the punting unit is on. 2 minutes and 55 seconds remain in the game. Tommy Barnhart, who won the puntathon among 9 guys 2 weeks ago that the Saints brought in, hasn't had much punting to do today. He hangs this one very high. Fair catch called for and taken by Clifford Hicks. 2:38 to go. Only a 25-yard punt, but the Rams will have to start at their own 15. The Rams have just 2:38. They do have the football back, but they trail by 19 points, which means they need 3 serious scores in a little over 2.5 minutes. And the way New Orleans has been able to dominate the line of scrimmage with guys like Steve Trapillo, that is not going to be easy.
Well, we talked about the size. You know, when you look at that offensive line of the Saints, Dombrowski is 298, Edelman is 276, Trapillo is 281, Block is 300. Kobe Brenner is like a tackle, playing tight end. He's 245.
Mark Herman in at quarterback. His first pass complete to Aaron Cox. Out to the 40. So Mark Herman replacing Jim Everett comes out firing for a 24-yard gain to Cox. And the Rams will go without a huddle. Bobby Hebert with a great day, near 300 yards passing. And Herman to throw again. Firing long and completing again. This one to Willie Anderson. Well, for those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, welcome to CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. This is Steve Zabriskie along with Hank Stram here at Anaheim Stadium, where the score is New Orleans 40 and Los Angeles 21. 60 minutes will in fact be seen in its entirety immediately following the game, except on the West Coast, where those of you on the West Coast will see it at its normal time. Timeout for the 2-minute notification. 2 minutes left to go in the game, and we'll return to Anaheim for those final 2 minutes right after this. Story of the game continues to be the same. The Saints have enjoyed the field position and have had control. Jim Everett's had a bad day. Bobby Hebert's had a fine day. And the story of the faces of the players on the benches tells it all. 40-21 with 2 minutes left to play. Herman in for Everett, has the ball knocked away, and it's covered right away by Irv Pankey. Pat Swilling coming through, knocked the ball out of Herman's hand.
And Herman never felt him coming at all. Usually quarterbacks will feel the pressure, especially from the backside. He never felt it at all. Going back in the pocket, look at Swilling.
They didn't go with the huddle, of course, and Cleveland Gary has the pass. And Gary's knocked down just as he crosses over midfield by Brent Maxey. Eric Martin, Lonzel Hill, and Dalton Hilliard have certainly, along with Bobby Hebert, been the offensive story. Herman right back after it under pressure. Picked off by Coy Cook. And that should seal it for New Orleans as Pete Holohan brings it down. And the Saints will take over with 1:07 left to play. That is the third turnover. Coming up tonight here on CBS, of course, it's 60 Minutes as soon as the game is over and at its regular time here on the West Coast, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then the CBS Sunday Movie, dealing with a very serious subject, Do You Know the Muffin Man? Coming up tonight after football here on CBS. John Robinson takes a philosophical view of things, Henry. He says that the season's like a 16-round heavyweight fight. Well, he's lost this round and losing 2 rounds in a row after Monday night, losing this one big.
Well, I think urgency plays a very prominent role in a game like this one. It wasn't nearly as urgent for the Rams. Regardless of what happens, they were going to still get a piece of first place or be in first place. On the other hand, the Saints, it was very urgent for them to get back in the race and knock off the Rams. And so that makes a big difference. And once they started with a 14-point lead, I think they stunned the Rams. They were in shock. They never recovered from the shock. And that's really the story of this game.
Reserve running back Bobby Morse in his second year out of Michigan State in the game. As the Saints try to run it out. Clock running down to 50 seconds remaining in the game.
Bobby Morris, his dad played at Notre Dame. Right before I got there, he was a very good halfback for the Fighting Irish and played with Paul Hornung when Paul was there.
Saints are celebrating. And, you know, Jim Everett has not had a bad day. He's 24 of 42 for 263 and 3 touchdowns. But Bobby Hebert with 276 yards and 3 touchdowns. That has not been the story. The story has been the big guys up front, where New Orleans has won it consistently. Clock running now, and that'll be the final play, as they will not have to run another one. And the New Orleans Saints have come into Anaheim Stadium and done exactly what they had to do. They have defeated the Los Angeles Rams 40-21. Perhaps a bigger victory in many ways than even they expected. Hank and I'll be back with a final word from Anaheim as New Orleans wins it by 19.
We see you back.